you about the organization. So let's start with the facility itself. It's a warehouse, but at the same time, there are some programming things that happen there.
Yes.
And there's also installations that are there, because I remember, and we'll talk about how I saw you in action a little bit later, that even when you spoke at the school I was at, but even in some of the, there are times that if you're walking through the space there, you will see some kind of artistic structure, either by the people who are currently working there, or maybe an artist has done something and they bring it. So it can be like a full artistic experience while you're there. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like going to a museum or
Well,
something in a way, kind of.
in a way.
And also going to a great treasure chest to see what you can take home, not home with you, but to school or to your theater. So talk about, let's just talk about the physical structure, what happens. Then we can talk about a little bit about, there's certain days of the week and times you can come. Let's just do those for now. We'll get into
Yeah. So first of all, as you mentioned, we have a large warehouse. We have 35,000 square feet, and we have so when you first arrive, you can walk through our gallery. We have a gallery that are not-for-profit, and you mentioned that too. We started a not-for-profit in 2002, so we could support programming that the city was not going to be able to provide, that it wasn't really in their mission to provide, or they didn't have the budget for it. So we have a very nice gallery with lighting, and that the Friends of Materials for the Arts has installed, and we have a number of shows over the course of the year, and we started an artist in residence program. So when you mention, you can see some art. While we often do displays, our own education team.
Yeah, like right through the middle of there was some that seemed like they'd be right in the middle of the warehouse.
Right. So sometimes when we're trying to,
maybe you can bring up some pictures, Yael, that are around in the website.
We get an offer of something, and we take it into the warehouse, and maybe there's 500 of these things, and maybe our members aren't really quite sure what you could do with that. So our education team will often do a display and make something out of those items. We used to do we got CD cases. Now there's not a lot of CDs, and we show how you can use them as picture frames, or you can decorate them, you can do self-portraits on them, and we show so that people, it's like the loss leader in the supermarket, here's what's happening at Materials for the Arts, and here's how you could use those items. Because if you know how to use those items, then you'll more often than not take those items, and that's what we want. We're like a Costco where everything is free. So, we have throughput. We need stuff's coming in every day.
We have 5,000 CD cases. We
need to move
them
them.
and move
Exactly.
those out.
Because tomorrow we're going to have 5,000 of something else come in. So we really do need that kind of cycle. And the way you do that is you merchandise things. And so that's sort of what we do. So you could see that if you're coming to our warehouse. But also when you're coming into the warehouse, you will see the work. And right now we have an artist in residence. So we started a program, and we have 2 artists in residence a year. And we give them, this is through the Friends, and we give them a studio, and we give them access to all the materials, and then they will be working. So when our members come in, and also we have field trips we have field trips from schools. So when the kids come in and they get a tour of the warehouse, they'll go and they'll talk to the artist in residence. They'll see a real live artist working with materials that they might be able to access. So you have to be an artist whose practice includes creative reuse, the reuse of materials. So while I often say, it would probably be harder for us to have a watercolorist working with us unless they were actually making the inks and making the paper, because we're really looking for someone who can be inspiring, not that the watercolorists couldn't, but to our members based on the kinds of materials that you'll find normally in our warehouse, which is a vast array of things, from office supplies and just straight up filing cabinets to all arts and crafts supplies and paper and fabric and buttons and beads and mannequins and all those things that